worldwide on the iHeartRadio app.
Enjoy your stay with us. And don't forget to remind your dad when he arrives that he has to come down and sign a couple of things.
Thank you. You've been most helpful.
May I take your bag, sir? Up here to your left. You know, Herbert Hoover once stayed here on this floor.
The vacuum guy?
No, the president. This is one of our finest suites, sir.
Yes, indeed. The Hotel Comp King is with us now. You know him, you love him. As one of your voices, the Milwaukee Brewers, he is Jeff Levering. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? Are you going to share your tips and tricks on how to get upgrades at hotels?
I'm doing great, thanks. And one of my favorite clips of that Home Alone 2. Fantastic, well done. Holding the Rob Schneider holding a hand out, waiting for a tip, and here's a piece of gum. So good.
Kid doesn't know, right? Yeah, why would he know?
Well, isn't that what you do, Levering? I mean, don't you give everyone with as many hotels that you're in, I mean, you've got to have bag boys and bag, doormen just all of a sudden holding doors and bring your bags up. So you just have a big stack of gum, right?
Yeah, breath mints actually is what I do. It's not gum. It's just like
I thought it was Ricola.
No,
Ricola.
It's a jumbo size Altoids tin is what I really carry along with me.
Okay.
Those things never go bad.
Yeah, and by Altoids you mean Zins, probably.
No chance. No,
you're not a Zin guy.
No. True story. I have dipped one time in my life, and that was it. All done.
Did it make you
swallow
sick?
I was gonna say, did you swallow and throw up?
Oh yeah, big time. I was in a hot tub with braces.
Oh,
and double whammy. It was awful. Never again.
Hot tub braces with that girl Jenny from biology class. And then next thing you know, you're puking in the bushes and Jenny's left for another party. And you're like, that didn't work out.
Not a good look for me. It was bad. It was not a good time.
Yeah. All right. We got things to talk about here, including I got questions about this Japanese pitcher that is all the talk, Roki Sasaki.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I saw on social media some kid throws an 88-mile-per-hour knuckleball. That is crazy. And I'm trying to figure out, who does he pitch for? And I guess the answer is nowhere, even though he is able to throw a knuckler at 88 miles per hour. But do you want to start with some college basketball first, since that is what you're doing right now?
You are the leader of this show, Zabe. So wherever you would like to go is where we can go.
Butchie,
so I'm all
you want to do some college basketball? Brian's going out west, and he's going to UCLA, one of the cradles of basketball lore, being where John Wooden did his magic at UCLA. Cheated, by the way, according to the rules, but we're not going to bring that up. That's an ugly accusation, but he did kind of buy players back in the day. He still had some of the greats, and he was a beloved, great coach. Going to UCLA, where Mick Cronin right now is struggling. Yesterday, Jay Billis, Butchie, weighed in on his thoughts about Cronin's rant after the UCLA loss 3 games ago.
Yes.
I actually asked Butchie Levering, I go, so, how's that working out? Did that little inspirational rant from Mick Cronin improve play? And the answer is?
No.
We talked
about
it
that. Has not.
The last time I was on, that was the day after
it was the day after,
It was the day after.
I'm sorry.
You played it for me. It was incredible. And then I had Michigan the next time that Michigan played, because it was really the Michigan game where he really lost it, and then ended up getting ejected the next game. Then they've lost since then. So for me, it was just, it didn't do any good. And I even asked a couple of the other coaches within the Big Ten who've known Mick Cronin for a long time. They go, there's a method to what he's doing. There is. And I said, well, I've never seen anybody wear out their assistants the way he wore out his assistants. Players, different story. But never once has he gone, maybe I should be a little bit better. But
all right, let me hear from
exposed.
Yes. Let me hear from Pope Billis on his thoughts on this regarding Mick Cronin.
What Mick had to say after the loss to Michigan. Coaches like to talk about accountability a lot, and rightfully so. I mean, accountability is important in everything, but I don't think that's what accountability really looks like. That, to me, looked simply like blame. So I heard a lot of I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and nobody else is doing it. And I don't think that's true, but that's for him to decide, not me. But I didn't care for it. And oftentimes when I hear something like that, and it's not often, I think about what Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers says. And he says he loves coaches that resist the responsibility of coaching because they're easy to beat. And when you talk negatively about your players, what you're really doing is seeking comfort because your teaching is struggling.
Wow. Well,
I mean, I think it's absolutely accurate. You're just trying to deflect as much as you can and take the spotlight off of you. I mean, Butchie, you've had coaches that do that all the time. Not coaches that have done that in particular, but what it's like to hear from a coach. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're sitting there and you're going, well, okay, he's deflecting everything. He's deflecting. That's not just a coaching thing. That's a tough personality thing. People do that in life all the time, and it's really, really difficult to be around those types of people.
It's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
You're the leader. You're in control. You're the one that can say what happens.
So you got Cronin and this thing boiling out there at UCLA. You've got the situation with Larinaga quitting midseason. Miami got run last night by Duke. Their season is completely in shambles. You've got the fire Mike Woodson chants ringing out in Indiana, so that's unstable right there. You got Coach Cal at Arkansas, who seems to be in mail-it-in mode. Take a listen to this.
Got a tough one coming up. I didn't even know when we play. I was hoping it was Wednesday.
What?
But I knew it'd be on the road because we've had 2 homes. And all of a sudden, it is. So we got to do something tomorrow, do something on Monday, travel, and go on the road and try to get this thing right.
I mean, come on, Butchie. I don't even know when we're playing.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? And you got to see Cal's face and demeanor to get this sense of he doesn't seem bothered by any of this at all.
So I know coach talk is we worry about the one in front of us. I don't know the one in the, what's next. Like I haven't gone that far. Like, okay. But the way that was phrased and put, another not good look.
Well, the fact that he says
they're losing, they're 0-4 in SEC play.
Yeah, and we're going to do something Monday. We'll do something Tuesday and travel.
Something.
You know exactly what you're going to do. You might say, hey, we've got a plan. We've got a plan in place. This is what we're going to work on. We're going to go through our routine, and we're going to get ready for our next game, wherever it may be.
You have the schedule put out.
Yeah.
Like the Badgers use teamwork. The Brewers do whatever they do. They like every player knows what is the next day. You don't just go in there and say, I don't know what's going on. We're going to just unless you just roll the ball out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like to be a very good plan.
No. The net levering is, I believe, that the college basketball landscape has never been more volatile or unstable right now. And some of these coaches that used to know exactly how to do what they needed to do to have success are struggling because it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, college football is the same way. It's a very unstable place to be, no matter what. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch, but you're not just recruiting your next wave of kids. You're also recruiting the kids that are in your roster right now to try and stay. You are recruiting every day. And head coaches, I think it's more this way in college football than it is in college basketball, but head coaches are CEOs of corporations. They are not coaches so much.
Right.
They are overseeing so many different things just to make sure that it all works, that the whole coaching and developing leaders and developing good human beings moving forward, that is lost. That is totally lost. They are professionals, and rightfully so. They're getting paid. They are professionals
without contracts. That's the thing. Every time your guy goes off, you wonder, oh, well, there's an extra probably $10,000, $20,000, $100,000.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Did we read into the record here on this show the Rick Barnes comments?
I have not yet.
Are you aware of them?
I am, absolutely.
The Chaz Lanier comment. This is why we brought him in here.
That's why we
paid to shoot threes.
So
he's not going to shoot
if
threes.
he's not going to shoot. He's going to sit next to me.
That's right.
Paid to do is how he put it. Here's the quote.
I took him out first play of the second half because he didn't shoot the ball. I mean, that play was designed for that shot. And I told him, I said, if you're not going to do what you're getting paid to do, you sit over here because he is getting paid to do that.
Wow. We're cross the Rubicon now with the way things are that a coach would say that so brazenly. And he's not wrong, mind you, but that's pretty aggressive. First of all, Butchie, who is afraid to shoot in college basketball?
Well, I was baffled, to be honest.
Especially him.
You're having to,
yeah,
right. Yes. So, maybe he thought it wasn't a good look, or he wasn't feeling it, or I don't know.
Well,
so
the response by Rick Barnes was spot on. And I have no problem with him saying that. Mm-hmm. Why are we acting like this isn't happening? Like, they absolutely are getting paid. So
will the morphing from the Wild West of NIL to the structured West of the what are they calling this? The
revenue
sharing model. Will the structured West that's replacing the Wild West lead to some stability in college basketball?
I don't think so.
No.
Unless you have a contract. If you have a contract in place, if you hold these players and these coaches accountable with contracts, whether it's a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal, whatever the deal is, that is the only way you're going to get stability within the sport. That's the only way.
And I think, you also have to then treat them, if they're late for a shoot around, fine them. Those sort, like, otherwise you're going to have issues. The reason fines work is not because of the discipline side of it, but when you start messing with people's money, now all of a sudden people are listening and people are following what you want to do. And the more money they get, the more they're going all over. That's why you see more problems.
Are you allowed to fine Butchie guys in college?
I don't think so right now.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I was talking to a basketball official in an airport a couple days ago, and I was coming back to town from wherever the heck I was coming from. And, one of the things officials are doing is they have to go around and make sure people tuck in their shirts and all these other things. They have to think about all the little minuscule things. But he brought up a good point. He goes, if you're in the NFL or the NBA and you have a wardrobe issue, the league just comes out and fines you. The league does it.
Yeah.
The officials don't have to do it. They don't have to worry about it. So if you're sitting there and you're a program and you want to find somebody, and like Butchie said, you get into their back pocket, you think they're going to think twice before doing something again? Absolutely. I think if you hold these guys accountable with their pocketbooks moving forward, that's a great way to do it.
Something, though, tells me that may not solve much anyway, because Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins said in a presser at the end of the year, finding guys for being late doesn't really do much.
Maybe not for those guys, but it does for 18 to 22-year-old kids.
You would think it would, but I just don't know. I just don't know if they're going to be like that sensitive to the money. I mean, I just saw yesterday, Butchie, Javon Bullard, who I really like, apparently has invested $100,000 on a diamond-encrusted fake grill for his teeth.
On a $600,000 contract, right?
No, he's making a couple
more than that. Okay.
$6 million. I think it's a 3-year, $6 million deal.
That's what
Look, I mean, whatever makes him happy, I suppose. Although, man, there's not a lot of resale on a custom fit $100,000 diamond grill. But anyway, so net college basketball is going to be wild. I'm locked back in, Butchie. I don't know if I'm going to get credit today for being locked back in after just being focused on football this whole time. So I'm in now.
Yeah.
I know you're upset that I wasn't in earlier.
No, it always
delivers. You want me in earlier?
Pay attention to it.
I'm in now, which is better than most years. Most years it takes till February. I'm in now. Let's go. Auburn's good. They're number one.
Auburn's really
Iowa State's good. They're 2. Duke with Cooper Flagg is good. They're 3rd. Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Marquette, Houston, Kentucky, Kansas. What other teams are worth?
Florida, Alabama
noting?
just lost last night. Both of them lost last night.
Okay.
That's big.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm buying stock in Michigan, Michigan State within the league, within Big Ten. Those guys.
Yeah, I am too.
And if Michigan State ends up shooting some threes and making some threes, they are in trouble for the rest of the league, man.
Yeah.
Michigan
really
State's
good.
14-2. They're ranked 12th, and Michigan is 13-3. They're in the top 20. They're 20th.
What's your next game, Jeff?
I have Northwestern Maryland tomorrow.
Okay.
The Fighting Derek Queens.
Yeah, they're
He's
playing good
man.
too.
He's
He is
good.
good.
Who
It's a really good team.
who is Roki Sasaki in 60 seconds or less, and why should I care about him?
He is the next Shohei Ohtani on the mound. Just pitcher. Unbelievable pitcher. 129 strikeouts on 111 innings last year.
In the Japanese league.
So
he's in
Japanese
Japan.
league.
Starting
No.
the minors, is that correct?
No, he could start in the big
Oh.
leagues, but it's a small contract, just like Shohei's was.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay the posting fee, and you're
yeah.
limited to what you can actually pay him in the free market.
Okay.
So, but he's a young kid. He was born in 2001, so he's still young, and he'll make plenty of money. But he's a stud. Was great in the World Baseball Classic a couple years ago. Going to be really, really good.
Okay. Apparently lost half his family in the tsunami.
Yeah, sad.
I mean,
Sad.
terrible story, but yeah, okay. All right,
Yeah.
well, and where is he supposed to go?
He's between 3 teams. I heard Toronto, San Diego, Los Angeles. Or these.
Yeah. That's the
LA.
article. Yeah, that's
Wow.
the article that I read.
Well,
on the
LA,
Athletic.
that'd
Those
be,
three,
it'd be nice if the Dodgers got a player once, in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah,
Poor
it's not like
guys.
they don't have a
Never-
10-man rotation or anything. It's fine.
Ridiculous. All right. Does it matter that pitchers and catchers show up a week early? Yes. or
No, they need it. They need it.
They
need
do?
to be in it. Yes, the pitchers need it.
So
They
why
need
not
to
show
get-
up 2 weeks early?
They're already doing their throwing program, so it's
Okay.
just making sure that they're ahead. They're always ahead,
All right.
and that's a good thing.
When do you get excited for pitchers and catchers?
February 1st.
Got it. That's your date.
February 1st.
That's the mental reporting date for Jeff
Yes.
Levering.
I'll be
Feb
there.
1, he's in.
I'll be there.
All right, buddy. We'll talk soon. Thank you. Have a great call this week.
You got it, guys. We'll talk next week.
Okay, coming up, we got our man, Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV. His thoughts on LaFleur's end-of-year presser yesterday and the big needs for this offseason. You're listening to Czabe and Butch in the morning on the game.
Playoffs, man.
Playoffs. Welcome to the playoffs, baby.
We're talking Super Bowl, baby! The home of the NFL playoffs, 97.3 The Game.
Our very busy morning continues. 43 southbound jammed up Hampton to Center, 794 westbound Lincoln Memorial to James Level heavy, and 94 eastbound Stop and Go Highway 100 to the Stadium Interchange, 94 westbound Stop and Go Marquette Interchange to Mitchell Boulevard. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank, total traffic tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Bunny Green.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Are you heading into the new year with that same old joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back? Make the decision now to say, nope, I'm not going to do it in 2025. Get moving again this year with the help of QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Billy Schmidt. The nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation is right here in Greenfield and Mequon, and under the leadership of medical director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. Yes, you can revitalize your own joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine, using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. So many of your neighbors here in Milwaukee are living pain-free once again, discovering these cellular treatments, and they're living without constant pain in their joints. Want to join them? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. They even have appointments available on Saturdays. Learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these amazing treatments. Call QC Kinetics at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
Attention all football fans. Old Spice Swagger Deodorant 4-pack is back at Costco. Get ready to unleash the greatest smell in the NFL. Old Spice Swagger is the ultimate 24/7 odor protection for all the football fanatics out there when used daily. But here's the catch, folks. This limited time offer won't last forever, so head to Costco and grab your 4-pack of Swagger Deodorant. Don't let those game-winning moments be overshadowed by unwanted odors. Get your Old Spice Swagger Deodorant now.
Badger fans, the temperatures may be dropping, but the Big Ten action at the Kohl Center is just heating up. This winter, we've got an action-packed schedule of Badger men's and women's basketball and men's hockey games right here at home. Gather your friends and family, secure your seats, and create lasting memories with us at the Kohl Center. For the full Badger schedule and to purchase your tickets, visit uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. That's uwbadgers.com or 1-800-GO-BADGERS.
Cruz weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss drugs, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that. At forhers.com/start, you can access doctor-trusted weight loss plans tailored to you, like GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, or oral medications at a fraction of the price. That's right. You'll save up to 91% per month on compounded semaglutide based on pricing through Hers. The same active ingredient as the name brand drug at 91% less. There's no hidden fees and no membership fees. Just one low, transparent price. And the process is 100% online. If prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. Get started at forhers.com/start to access affordable doctor-trusted weight loss plans that put you first. That's forhers.com/start. FORHERS.com/start.
Grab the contest rules for 97.3 The Game at thegamemke.com.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Another sunny and cold start to our day today, but getting cloudier later on and warming up to 24. Should stay near 20 overnight tonight with a chance for light snow and then warm to the upper 30s for tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Our new and improved iHeartRadio app has made it even easier to enjoy the radio station's podcasts and playlists you love. How? Well, we've added everything you love about your car radio into the free iHeartRadio app. With easy-to-use presets, you can now save your favorite stations on the app, just like in your car. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love based on your location or favorite genre. Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio!
Coming up Wednesday, the Mike Heller Show goes noon to 3 on the game. We always visit with Jim Polzine on Wednesdays. He'll react to the end of the Packers season, but so will Pete Doherty of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, PackersNews.com. The Mike Heller Show, Wednesday, noon to 3 on the game.
100%. And I think that's on us to make sure that we find him and feature him because he is, I mean, when he gets the ball in his hands, you feel him. So if there was an area that we got to do a better job on, I would say featuring the tight end.
The great song Contenders, or not song, but really production cut by Craig Palmer, used in the Packers broadcasts for years. Our visit with Aaron Nagler is brought to you by Rogers Behavioral Health, Hildebrand Law, The Great Taste of Miller Lite, and Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference, Nags. Good morning. As an old head, I know you appreciate this cut from the production archives.
I do. Good morning, guys. I'm half expecting this to morph into the old CBS, NFL on CBS theme, where they had the Brent Musburger coming to you live from Lambeau Field. Like, that's good stuff right there.
Did CBS use this cut?
No, it's same instrumentation, but it wasn't
Similar.
this exact. It was very similar to this, though.
Luddy, you say you're using this for the last time. You're going to put it away for the winter.
Yeah.
Now that the season's over.
Time, unfortunately.
Yeah. He loves it. Buddy loves this song.
I was so
More than
upset
likely.
when this song was retired by the Packers per se.
Well,
I like to
retired
keep it
by
alive.
us, wasn't it?
No.
Didn't we have a choice as to what music we wanted to use for the presentation?
I don't believe so.
All right. Well, whatever.
All
All right.
Gorilla, that is 1265 Lombardi, said, nah, this is done. That was it. Over.
Hanging from the side of the
I'm just
Empire
like,
State
no.
Building.
Swatting it away.
Swatting biplanes out of the sky. Do this.
Exactly.
You don't do this.
All right. Well, let's start with this. What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's season-ending press conference?
Well, I mean, the headline is the retirement of Tom Clements, the confirmation, because it's funny. I had been asked a lot about it kind of down the stretch, and I hadn't really considered it too much. I was so kind of engrossed in the games. But yeah, I guess, Tom Clements getting up there, his second go around in Green Bay, and LaFleur coming right out of the gate and saying that Clements is retiring. That's significant. Obviously Jordan Love had his struggles this year, and he's going to need every bit of coaching coming into the start of the next offseason program. Very fascinated to see what LaFleur does there as far as possibly promoting from within, maybe Sean Mannion, Connor Lewis, a couple guys on staff that maybe they could turn to, or does he look outside the building? Maybe he has a connection to someone. Maybe he's got that guy already in mind. I don't know. But to me, I mean, we can talk about everything that was discussed regarding the play action game, right? And the improvement on defense. And that's all stuff that they'll go over with a fine tooth comb as a staff throughout the offseason. But to me, the Clements thing that's pretty darn important. That to me is the headline from yesterday.
Yeah. A lot of us on the couches were noting the less play action stuff. And LaFleur's answer to that was, well, we were running out of the gun or the pistol, and we were running more effectively from that. And that's why we didn't have as much play action. See, what they know, Nags, is way more than what we'll ever know. So we just see what we were able to see.
While that is true, it's interesting when LaFleur talks about that, and he's right. They were insanely effective, especially with Jacobs, and they got to the power running game, and some of the spinner stuff they got to kind of halfway through the season was really effective. But what's fascinating to me is what didn't get asked in that press conference, which I would love to hear from Matt on, is the way they leaned into running the ball on first down. I mean, far and away, way more than any other team. I think the next closest is like, I can't even recall the number, but it's way down the line. Like on first down, they ran the ball. And
so they were the heaviest first down run team
by a wide margin.
By a wide margin, okay.
Where I kept expecting, okay, now we're going to start seeing play action off of that. I think that was kind of the expectation, and it never really materialized because it's great that you have an effective running game. Josh Jacobs is an amazing talent, but it is the NFL. It is the year 2025. You have got to figure out how to parlay that into success through the air. Points come through the passing game, and that never materialized this season in Green Bay.
You know who made his whole bones about that first down run percentage is Warren Sharp, who does all this data diving on NFL. And I don't think he's wrong in that. He really was the guy out there banging the drum going, all these coaches, these old school coaches, run it on first down. It's so dumb. Don't run it on first down all the time. Be variable, mix it up.
Well, that's what's so mystifying because they were so successful down the stretch last season, the kind of final 5-6 games with Aaron Jones in the backfield, marrying play action off of the early rundowns because defenses didn't know what to key on. I remember Dan Quinn's quote going into the game against the Cowboys was, you look at the tape and you have no idea. You have no clue as a defensive coordinator if it's going to be a run or a pass, or as a defender on the field if it's going to be a run or a pass. Playing the Packers in 2024, you knew it was going to be a run. And it's funny you mention old heads because it's like the old adage comes from one of the old head coaches who is one of the greats, and Bill Walsh, who said the best down to throw the football on is first down. And it just never seemed to materialize. Yeah. And I'm fascinated to see how they kind of come off of that because there's no way they repeat that next season. They simply cannot do that.
Yeah. All right. One thing that I had my eyebrow go, when I heard him say it was that LaFleur said he was surprised the Eagles went off template or something to that effect for their defense, playing a ton of cover 2, shell zone, whatever. Much like he was surprised Minnesota played so much man, which was also quote unquote off template, and they would have to look at that. While I appreciate coaches being honest and sharing, pulling the curtain back, the other part of me, Nag, says Don't say that. Don't say that
Right.
out loud.
Right.
Am I wrong in
No,
thinking?
I hear
Well, you're the
you.
coach. You're supposed to.
You're supposed to
prepare
react to that. That's why have coaches if they're not able to respond and kind of adjust, right? Like
Right.
I get that, but I mean, like you said, he's being honest, and I do appreciate it. And it's funny because I know he's talking about like what they presented as a defense, but I didn't think Philadelphia was crazy offbeat from what they've done much of the year, especially the second half of the season. And he said it after the game. They played a ton of soft zone. It's so funny watching that defense. All I could think of, this is what Joe Barry was trying to do for 3 years. It's just the Eagles have the actual guy who built the defense in Vic Fangio. And he knows exactly what to call tendency-wise. They run that as well as anybody has ever run it. And obviously the Packers never got close to that level, but that's the idea. That defense that we saw on Sunday was what the Packers were trying to do for the last 3 years and could never do. So they were a little, they threw things at them that they probably weren't expecting at times. But for the most part, that's how they've played defense for the whole second half of the season in particular.
Next, when you look at this team, I said there needed to be more accountability on Monday. Everyone was like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And then Tucker Kraft comes out and says, hey, I need to be a better leader. There's some guys, I don't want to say bought in, but like there were some alarming comments from Tucker Kraft that I took away and said, wow, okay, this didn't go the way that it should have gone. The record says that because I think every fan out there is wondering, how do you finish 2-3 over your last 5?
Right.
And that's not the ending we've seen in the past from Matt LaFleur teams most of the time. And then I think there were some very obvious things. Are there any concerns as far as the locker room dynamics for you and the leadership in that organization right now?
Not really. I mean, I think a lot of what you heard coming out of the locker room on cleanout day was, to your point, you're talking about that Tucker Kraft interview, which I thought was great. I thought he was very honest and to the point. I do think that's a sign of a team that is young, that is maturing. And there's probably, an instance or two in the locker room where they're like, wait, you need to shape up, man. And that's what players should do, right? As far as holding each other accountable. The best teams are player-led. That is always going to be true, especially in the NFL. And if you've got a guy like Tucker, who now is probably, growing into a role of leadership in that room, in that building, that's what you want to see as far as the maturation of, okay, we've had 2 years where they've been the youngest team in the league. It's time to grow out of that. And I think that is part of that process, right? Guys going, okay, stuff that flew these last couple of years, we're done with that. We're on to the next. It is time to evolve. And I think what you heard in some of those quotes is that team growing up. Now, they got to do it, right? It's got to actually materialize itself both in the locker room and on the football field. But to me, that's encouraging. That's just me. That's just how I read it. But to me, that's an encouraging sign.
Shouldn't that come from the head coach? I mean, and you talk about player-led teams and things that are acceptable and aren't acceptable with a young team. Shouldn't a head coach have a little bit more of an iron fist to control what is acceptable and what is not acceptable? Because to me, I love what Matt does on the field. I think he's great. And I know it's a professional, team versus a college team.
Mm-hmm.
But as young as this team has been for 2 years, we've seen too many dumb penalties. We've seen too many mistakes. To me, that's Matt LaFleur. You need to rule with a little bit more of an iron fist. And I think that's the area where Matt, if he sits back and self-reflects, needs to improve on. Am I wrong in that?
I don't know. It's really hard to say not being in the building, right? Because we can sit here and see those things. Like we saw a couple of them on Sunday as far as TJ Slaton and Keyshawn Nixon getting flags. And the Nixon one was kind of ridiculous. But so those are personal foul penalties and they really cost you, right? But man, those are 2 vets. No, those aren't the young guys making those mistakes, And as far as LaFleur, it's really hard to sit here and analyze it if you aren't in the building, you aren't in the meeting rooms, you don't know what the messaging is. We know what he says publicly at the podium, right? But as far as what's actually occurring, from my eyes, and I can only judge by what I see on game days, right? I just think, if anything, he's too tightly wound with this team. I think, especially because they're young. I think you saw that. You're talking about finishing, 2-3 in the last 5. Man, nothing to me exemplifies.
Is he too tightly wound in big games or just too tightly wound?
I think in general.
To me, I think it's big games.
I think
I think it's in general. Okay. And I think the 4th down drop by Reed in Minnesota, I'm always going to come back to that play. That to me is a direct, you can draw a line from a guy who's so desperate to make a play because everyone in the building is so desperate to make a play. And that comes from the tone from the coach. So, and look, this is all very anecdotal, right? And it's all, again, I can only go by what I see. To me, it just feels like, yeah, the guy needs to loosen up a little bit, maybe delegate a little bit, maybe don't be so overbearing in every aspect of the organization when it comes to the football team. And you're talking about leadership, man. Yes, 100%. He is the leader, and the team is a reflection of the coach always. But the locker room is his own thing, especially in the NFL. Like that, the coaches don't go in the locker room, right? Like, the media has its little slice of time. It gets to go in there and talk to the guys. Some trainers get to go in there, but for the most part, that is the domain of the players, and that's how it should be, right? The coaching staff shouldn't be involved in there.
I hated the play, but loved the clip of you and Banky talking about the second three that turned into the stiff arm from hell from Goddard into the end zone, where you guys saw it right away. Like, oh my God, what are they doing?
I mean,
that
was so easy. That was so easy to see coming. I mean, I saw it coming.
You understand?
Jalen Hurts saw it coming. Everybody saw it coming.
So why do you rush 7?
Yeah, I didn't get that call.
4 on 2nd and 3.
I didn't get that call at all.
And then play your DBs 10 yards off.
I know that's the other part, right? Oh, so you're scared of getting beat deep. I get all that, but to me, I don't love the call in that situation. But that's neither here nor there. What I think that has to instruct Hafley in going into next season, you have to have someone on the field who is given the green light to make calls when they see an adjustments and get you out of stuff. When you see Hurts making the adjustment at the line of scrimmage, I mean, like you said, I was literally sitting there on watch party going, they're just going to throw hot into the flat, and that's exactly what they did. And then, Valentine, buddy, if it's a tight end, you take his legs out.
You got to.
Why are you trying to go high? I mean, that's a tough, teachable moment to learn in front of the entire country. But man, buddy, go low.
If it's me, Nags, you're going to rush 7 to induce a negative play. Okay, fine. But you got to be YOLO on the corners. You got to play press on the corners and say, look, I'm going to count on my guys winning and blocking, knocking down a pass. There's no point in mating that together. Do you think we'll get an explanation on the fumble non-recovery on the opening kick by the league?
Never. But I will say, I thought it was clear as day that Keyshawn had it. But I'm sure the NFL's argument would be it did bounce. It was moving around at one point, and then a player comes over the top, and then they can say, well, there's no clear video evidence to show that he is 100% possessing that football. And to the letter of the law, if you want to talk about that, that's correct. So I hate it. Keyshawn knows he got it. We all know he got it, but that's where the NFL is going to live. No doubt.
All right, let's exit here with your favorite game. Yes, no, maybe.
Nothing
hits quite like a Nagler maybe on a rumored transaction.
Sure, right.
You're like, ooh,
right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So yes, no, maybe. Devontae, yes, no, maybe.
Maybe.
Trade for Max Crosby. Yes, no, maybe.
The smallest sliver of maybe.
First round wide receiver pick. Yes, no, maybe.
No.
Bring Jair Alexander back. Yes, no, maybe.
No.
Keyshawn as CB1. Yes, no, maybe.
Maybe. It's up to him to fight for it. He's going to have plenty of competition, but I love his fire to try and go get it.
Pay Brandon McManus. Pay that man his money.
Yes.
Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
That missed field goal was a
I
big
can't.
one, by the way.
It was, but man, that's his second of the year. I can't go through another summer like last summer.
Nope.
Absolutely not. Pay that guy.
Another alt jersey to complement the snow outfit for 2025. Yes, no, maybe.
Maybe.
Road trip with all of us to Dublin next year for this rumored Ireland game. Yes, no, maybe.
Hell yes. And then
And
then
you hear that, boss man? We're going to Ireland.
Hell yes. And then play the Browns in London the following week so we can just get to stay over there.
Ouch. Well, sir, you're dreaming the biggest dreams I ever done seen.
Hey, man, go big or go home. Come on, Zabe.
If we could do that in September, I'd be for it. Just bring the clubs along, and we can.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, man.
Makes sense, man.
When will that game be that's a rumor right now, right?
It's a rumor. It's been reported, though. There's reporting around it. Legit reporting from Pittsburgh reporters. So
But
that's
not announced.
It's not
the
announced.
league has not announced
Not yet.
Packers in Dublin next
Not yet.
year.
The Colts
But
just
it's
got
been
announced this
reported.
morning as playing in Berlin. So they're starting to kind of roll out these international games. I know the London
it out. Okay.
guys got announced a couple days ago. So hopefully in the next couple weeks prior to the Super Bowl.
There's 3 levels: rumors, reporting
and
announced.
Exactly. We are at the reporting.
And then if you and then there's Reddit threads, which is way below. Like it's the lowest.
I would say though, Reddit has really improved its batting average. No question about it. Back in the day, it was kind of laughable, but lately they're not too. They're sitting about 500.
Okay.
They're not terrible.
Have they?
Have they?
They're a lot better than they used to be.
Does Ernst & Young score their accuracy as what the counting
Yes,
firm is?
I'm sure. Yes, a big time. I'm sure they're all over that.
All right. Well, Cheesehead TV shuts down for the long off season and no more. Oh, wait a minute. No, in fact, you don't.
No,
you
sir.
keep going because this is the time of year people want to engage the most in the latest rumors, news, draft, free agency. So go to Cheesehead TV every day for their top-notch content.